Hey guys, Wilt's here today, and I am going to do a sort of quick video on how I draw cats. So this doesn't work for everyone, so always go out there and just try different styles and see what works best for you. So first off, we start off with a sketch. I wrote the steps up there, which they kind of didn't work out, but I'll explain it on the way. So today, I'm mainly just going to go over like the two main positions a cat you see your cat's drawn in, which is the standing and a sitting. So you start off by drawing 3 circles, just kind of the base. The first one for the head, the first one for where the shoulders are, and the third one for like the hindquarters. And then you start sketching out your legs, which is really hard, and I encourage you to go and look up references of cats and just get a feel for their anatomy. I mainly start with like the hip, the elbow or the knee, and then the hock, and then down to the paws. You can mainly just do sticks for them. And then it always helps me to draw the ground beneath them to make sure they're equal. Which, their legs aren't always equal, but in this case, they're gonna be on the same ground. So then start drawing out like the spine and the chest down to the belly. Just start getting a feel of the actual outline. And then you're going to start bulking out your legs, making them look less like sticks and more like cats. And then I went down and did my tail, and I'll show you, there's a bunch of different positions you can do for a cat. But in the meantime, I thought I was going to show it there, but apparently not. So we start working on the face. You have straight up to the ears, then the forehead, then the muzzle, and it curves around back to the ears. And then I draw my eyes, nose, and mouth. Then, step 2, kind of, we're going to do our outline. I'll come back to the steps later. But once you kind of have your sketch, you're gonna just go off the main outline in a Sharpie or a color, or just in general to get rid of the sketch. I use a simple Sharpie pen. Now while you're doing your final outline, I encourage you to also fix up the small things that you would like to adjust that your sketch couldn't get to. Because you know, when you're making a sketch, you're gonna have your lines are gonna start to run over when you're starting to record or starting to draw, and it just looks all sloppy. So that's one thing you can do while drawing. And here what I'm doing, if you do it in tiny strokes, it can kind of look like fur. So sometimes you can do that in certain areas that you would like. You can also do that kind of fur texture for the ears, the face, and the legs, and it just gives it more of a realistic look in a way. Feel free to experiment. Oh, and as you can see, I kind of gave our little child a pupil, which, yes, you should do that in your sketches. I just didn't feel like it right now. So then I started moving on with this purple pen, doing the extras, like what makes your character different from just a normal cat. Which, yep, you can see I marked it. You should be doing this before you actually do the outline. So then your outline can just be one smooth motion. Here, my hand will move out of the way in a second. Are all the different kind of tails. I encourage you to use references, like go on Google, just search up cats, and look at all the different tail shapes, and I'm sure there's plenty of videos out there explaining it, that, like, not all cat tails are the same, especially when you have different breeds, they're gonna look different. So then in my purple, I decided to go off and color the areas where you can add extra fur to make it look more fluffy, in a sense. So around the legs, like the hocks, the fronts of the legs, like the thighs, the hindquarters, the tail, the cheeks, the ears, the forehead, the chest. There's a bunch of areas where you can just add fur to give it a little bit more of a fluffy appearance. Now here I started drawing all the different kinds of cheek fluff you can do. which there's a ton, and I'm sure I didn't include them all, so feel free to, again, do your own research and look at references. Now, taking my green, I'm going to begin shading. The shading is different for everyone and at the different angles, but this is just the generic angle and what makes it just kind of look there, but also not super flat. You want to do this after you color, and shade with the color that's under it. So let's say the body was yellow, so I would do a darker yellow for the shading. You could also do gray, that's an option, but I usually just do the same color. So you mainly shade around the areas where there's lines and where it's under the body or hidden behind another limb. Shading takes time and practice, so don't get discouraged if it doesn't work out the first time. I'm also showing where you would shade if you did all these different kinds of tails. Now I'm showing here that the forehead should also match the cheek, but again, it really doesn't have to, it just looks a little bit better. So that is basically it for the standing cat. So now we're going to start our sketch on the sitting cat. Again, this isn't the best cat I've drawn, but it's a good reference. So I start by drawing the head, and then the body in a circle, and start creating down to legs, and adding the paws. I'm still learning with this form, this body position myself, so it's not exactly perfect. And then I do the round hindquarters. So you could do a tail standing erect and work on the paws, which can also be like the tails we used above, which is that arrow. But for sitting cats, I usually like to make it easier on myself and have the tail curl around the paws. Therefore, we don't have to draw the paws. So then I start adding the final details like ears, hair, etc. And then we have to work on the muzzle, which is the hard part. Just start by doing a line close to the outer ear, not the closest ear to you. Create a line down and make that weird, wide muzzle shape. You can look at other references from other cat drawings if you need help. I recently figured that out, and it was really hard for me, and I just practiced, and that's the only way you can really get better at these kind of things. So then we start working on our outline for this cat as well. Mainly just simple, easy, nothing unique, just the outline. Again, make sure you have your fur details, like the extras that make the cat unique, put down before you create your final outline. I just didn't do in this video for reference. Playing this back, I'm not exactly sure why I added that step there, other than just make sure you do the fur before you do the outline. That's very important, and it won't look the same if you don't. And then we went on to shading after we color. Again, just kind of the corners that are like hidden and deeper in, or hidden behind other limbs. For example, the belly would be a big one. It's covered by both the arms and the tail, so it needs a lot of shading. And that's going to wrap it up for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll consider making a dragon video in the future if you show your support by subscribing and liking. I hope this helped, and I'll see you in the next video.